Hello and welcome. I hope you're all very well, you're staying safe and you're enjoying your hobby. Thank you for joining me today. Typically on a Saturday I will go through all of the news and pre-orders and everything that's Games Workshop and Forge World are releasing. Either Forge World releasing on Friday and Games Workshop releasing today. However, that's not really the case at present time, but I thought I'd just do this video anyway to continue the trend of these news and pre-order videos. And what we'll do is we'll actually have a look at some of the articles that they've released in the past week or two, and they've got some really nice new models that they've shown in all the previews, so we'll go through that. Welcome if you're one of the new subscribers that's found the channel over this period. It's mainly Warhammer 40,000 content, but now and again I throw in some Age of Sigmar, some Horus Heresy, some Adeptus Titanicus, and so on. You'll see a wide range of content. I very recently just received the last two issues of the Conquest magazine, issue 79 and 80, and at the moment I'm releasing like a first look and review of one issue a week. But where I can, I'm trying to squeeze in two. New releases typically are the priority when it comes to videos, and I try and get out a full review of a new release or a special kind of video every Warhammer Wednesday. I've got some great news for you. Part 1 of the Nemesis Warbringer Titan from Forge World, the build guide, will be tomorrow. So it's a lengthy video. Hope you enjoy it. It's only part 1. They're not going to be consecutive in the sense that there's not going to be a build guide every day for the next couple of weeks. They will be sort of dotted about in places, but I will be creating a playlist so you can just hit that playlist and watch all of the videos in that collection. So thank you to all the new subscribers, everyone that comes and watches the videos every day and gives them a like. It is daily content. It has been since sort of November time. Every sort of month or two I've been updating on the channel on these particular videos, whether I can continue to do that, and I said that I'm going to end it for June because there's a few other projects I want to get into and invest my time in. However, you'll still get the Warhammer Wednesday video and the news and pre-order video, so there'll still be 2 a week, and maybe a Conquest video filling out the gaps. But unfortunately the channel won't be producing videos on, say, the Monday, the Tuesday, Thursday and Friday and the Sunday, like I have been doing. However, if you want to support the channel, you want to help the channel to continue with the daily content, I do suggest you go over to Patreon. You can donate as little as you like $1 a month, and that just helps the channel, helps me out, helps me get the all the new releases. I really want to get all the new elves, so if you want to see all of those unboxed and reviewed, every model, this is a great way of helping me do that, because like I've always said, Games Workshop don't send me anything. I've never been sent a free model in my life, so everything that you see on the channel, whether I collect it or I don't, it's funded through me. If you can't support on Patreon for $1 a month, I really suggest you buy your miniatures and hobby supplies from Element Games. Quite a few of you do this already, so thank you so much for everyone that does this. Literally, you just click the link in the description. It can't be any easier than that. And that is pretty much the same as donating on Patreon, except it doesn't cost you any money other than the money that you're going to spend on your miniatures. I buy most of my miniatures, if not all, from here. I get all the new releases, and typically they ship them on the Saturday, which is fantastic for me. They're even working through this shutdown as well. I've made an order today, and you can just order your hobby goodness, and they'll do their best to ship it out to over 246 countries worldwide now. Okay, moving on to the main reason of this video, which is we're going to have a look at all of these sort of previews and new models coming, and look at the articles that they've got. I will say that Games Workshop is kind of open. Before there was a funny video by James Workshop, if you saw that over the past couple of weeks, but if you go onto Games Workshop, this is what the UK store looks like right now, and you can pretty much buy most things. I mean, it says possible delays to shipping. I've made an order. I bought some clippers and some files and things like that. Again, I think it was last week, and they still arrive within a few days. So that's absolutely amazing that they're able to fulfill the orders, and because my expectations were pretty low anyway, and I think it's good to go into these online stores as the places are opening with low expectations, because they're doing the best they can. They don't have all of their staff there, but it says standard shipping is free for all orders over £20. That's great. So the one thing I will say about this store is, they're not showing any pre-orders or new releases and things as of yet. They are just around the corner. I am sure of this. I think we're just lucky that they managed to squeeze out all of the Sisters of Battle new releases before the shutdown. But unfortunately nothing new on Games Workshop, nothing new on Forge World. Unfortunately nothing you can order on Forge World, like if you wanted a Porphyrion, for instance, you can only share it, you can't add it to your basket or whatnot. So Games Workshop's sort of open. If you have a look here, USA, Australia and more, web store reopening tomorrow. So this is the latest. There may be a queue, that's James Workshop, and limit on some of the items such as spray paints. So these things are like 3 per order. So Prophecy of the Dwarf, because that was a new release before the shutdown. Plastic glue, super glue, spray paints and colour paints. Understandably there's a bit of a limit of 3. Yeah, 3 per colour, not just 3 paints. You get some very samey looking models if you could only get the 3 paints, wouldn't you? Do need to get some spray paints actually. What do they have? I wish they showed the can of spray as well as just the colour, but the Retributor armour is the one I swear by. Yes, it's quite pricey, but if you've got any Custodian Guard, spray them in that. It works a treat. Would need to get some lead belcher, but they're out of stock. I kind of thought that would be the case. Anyway, apologies. Let's go back to the articles. So if we go back sort of a couple of weeks ago, towards the end of April, so we got the 24th of April, we had a good look at this Illuminor Zeras. I'm just going to call him Zeras or Zeras. Zeras. Absolutely stunning model. He's going to look so different to all of your other Necron models. If you collect Necrons, this character is way ahead of anything else. I think even the one that came in the Forgebane kit, I think it was, that guy, this is just taking it to the next level. This is, I think it's partly the paint scheme as well, this kind of bronze coloured paint scheme, but this looks like something out of Forge World. This doesn't look like a Games Workshop kind of thing, but they are taking that to the next level. Looks incredible. Yeah, this guy, here he is, Cryptek, sorry. So they had a nice article with him, and so that was a good look. Then they had a Sunday preview, Stay Safe Hobby On, Psychic Awakening Retaliation, Patriarch, Primarch Deathmatch. That was an interesting one. They showcased the store's opening, Rumour Engine, and then this Mastering Cerastus Knights. This was interesting too, because we got to look at these new knights for Adeptus Titanicus. I will be getting these and unboxing them and reviewing them for you all, so rest assured you'll see them on the channel at some point when they release them. I think these will be one of the newest releases that they will go for, maybe with the Luminelf Realm Lords as well. But yeah, you've got the bolt cannons and you've got the swords, and then you've got the Acheron knights as well, which are great shield strippers. So both look fantastic. I really like the Lancers. They're lovely little kits for Titanicus. And then you've got Taking the Lead. But yeah, a banner of Castigators. So the Castigator and the Acheron. Lovely looking knights. Hopefully we'll get in a Trapos. Maybe we'll get 2 in a box set. That's an interesting sort of thing to think about. They are quite specialised though, but seeing as they've got the Porphyrion, I'm pretty sure they'll bring out the Atrapos. I don't know whether we'll get the Armigers and Helverins though. They seem to be a bit small for Titanicus. I think Knights and Cerastus are probably as small as they'll go for now. Moving back up, you've got more Primarch death matches. re-release Campaign Chronicles. They were around for a little while. Then they had a classic battle report, Ghazghkull versus Ragnar. Don't know whether I remember this one. No, definitely don't. It's a bit before me. Web store was back open. That was the 1st of May. There were some collections. Nick Brayton had a nice Titanicus one. And then they had a highlights of 2020. It does feel like a year's gone by already, doesn't it? We're only into May. But they had a nice look at the Sisters of Battle squad, which I'm yet to review. Please stay tuned to the channel. It will be one of the review videos coming very soon. And then they've also showcased the Retributors and the Seraphim, along with the Exorcist and the Rhino and the Immolator, and then the Triumph of St. Catherine and the Battle Sanctum. Brilliant. They had a nice collection of Psychic Awakening books, The Ritual of the Damned, Great Good, and the Saga of the Beast. And then they had a full box set to accompany this, which is Prophecy of the Wolf. I'm not a huge fan of it, I've said that before. But Engine War is shaping up to be fantastic, and of course the War of the Spider as well. Then they had this Soul Wars, Wrath of the Everchosen, with a few releases for Seraphon. And then Adeptus Titanicus, a new game. Now, this I always thought should have been the starter set. Maybe not the Cerastus Knights, maybe, 3 knights each, possibly, or maybe only just the Reavers and the Warhounds. But I'm glad that they chose some new kits, the Cerastus Knights in there. And actually it comes with a kind of an upgrade sprue for the Reaver too, so you can have the Chain Fist and the Melter Cannon and the dual turbo laser carapace mounted weapon. This was, I say, quite affordable compared to the Grandmaster edition, even though the rulebook was softback, which, well, I would have rather have had a hardback version of it. But that's a great starter box set, and I liked how they chose to release that. I liked how they chose the models in that were completely different to the models in the Grandmaster edition, so you can just bump up your mana pool. Then there was a Sunday preview, which is Tech Adepts and Magic Armor. And we got a little look at the Light of Eltharion. Absolutely stunning miniature. I will try and cover all of the Lumineth Realm Lords releases because I really want to cover this guy. There was a look at the extra armaments for Adeptus Mechanicus, and this is one of the main reasons I did this video, to specifically look at these models that are coming out. So we've had the Scorpius tank and the Disintegrator. I've seen the Archaeopter, I think it's called, in the flesh back in November, end of November 2019. So yeah, it's what, half a year ago now. It seems like longer. It seems like such a long time ago, but we're looking at these models, and specifically these Cerberus Sulphur Hounds. Just call them Sulphur Hounds, it's fine. They look really, really cool. They kind of remind me of the sort of 90s cartoon, I think it was 90s, might have been 80s, Brave Star, where it's like Strength of a Bear and things like that, because I think they had kind of mechanical horses type that were on jet thrusters and anti-grav vehicle. It's kind of like a Wild Western hybrid of technology, and this is what it reminds me of. I mean, he's got the akimbo kind of pistols, like a Red Dead Redemption thing, but he's on this mechanical hound. It's just, yeah, incredible. Love the sort of, I want to say, steampunk vibe as well it gives off. So the sulphur breath is what these sulphur hounds sort of spew out, kind of like a flamer in their face in a way. But they are quite nice because you can fire them even if after you've advanced. And then looking at this guy with the revolver, this is a bit of a different Cerberus mode of transport. I wouldn't really call it a sulphur hound. And he's got this like power sword rapier thing, and the revolver, again, it's quite decent. It's a long range. It's a nice range of 12 inches. It's a good strength, a very good AP, and a very good damage. And it's carried by the Cerberus Raiders unit, Alpha. And then even these Taraxi Skystalkers have these flechette carbines, which is a lovely range of 24 inches. 5 shots each. Yeah, their strength and the AP and damage isn't the best, but it's nice that it's a solid 5 shots. You get 3 of these, that's 15 shots. That's quite, and the fact that it's 24 inches and they could probably move 12 inches or 14 inches gives them a very decent effective range. They can keep out of any kind of close combat and things. If that wasn't to your fancy, you've also got these phosphor torches, which are decent range for a flamer. They're assault weapons. They automatically hit and the enemy doesn't receive benefit of the cover. The models look really, really cool. Like, this is exactly what I'd expect Adeptus Mechanicus to have. This kind of mesh of technology and zoomorphism, where they don't have to have these wings at all. I'm sure of it. However, no Mechanicum, they don't usually make things without serving some kind of purpose or function. It's just that the technology, they can hop around without those wings, I'm sure, with just the thrusters or anti-grav technology or whatever. I question whether the wings and themselves offer any benefit, because you don't see those kind of wings on any other assault troops, on the Raptors, on the Seraphim, on the on the Inceptors or the assault marines. You just don't see them. So maybe they give them some kind of control, agility. I don't know. And then you've got the Taraxi Talons, which look a bit beefier than the ones above. They're just a strength of the user, which I'm pretty sure will be like 3. Nice AP, but they do get a better strength, and I think that's because it's reflected with the strength of the user. So really, really nice look at the 2 new units. I think there was a look at the Archaeopter. Yes, it was right here, look. So moving up, you've got preparing for marathon hobby sessions, the right lighting, cool white candlelight and daylight, your painting area. This is quite useful information. You've got all your angles, because you don't want you do your back out just from painting, do you? Dual lamps there, look, they've got dual lamps. They've got plenty of electricity usage with like a laptop and 2 screens as well. He's broken up into quadrants, so he's got the paints right there. Yeah, that's quite straightforward, isn't it? Settling for the long haul. Yep, tea and biscuits, of course. Okay, that's an interesting little look. And then take to the skies. This is a big look at the Archaeopter. They've got some new names as well for it too. The Transvector, the Strato Raptor, and the Fusilier. Oh, Mechanicus and their naming, right? Okay, so the Transvector, I always think transport, it's the Transvector. Okay, that will be the full transport option. You've got like a little rocket pod on the back, and you've also got what looks like a twin-linked heavy stubber on the back, and maybe heavy stubbers on the front. So very lightly armed. I'm not sure about the armour. You've got the Taraxi class in there transporting it. It doesn't actually say. It says it can swoop in to drop squads off. I wonder if squads can attach themselves with their claws on it, or whether it's just any squads in there. I'd like to know how many. I'm thinking 10, but we'll see. And then the Strato Raptor, which is the gunship. So this is the aerial versus aerial option. You've got these front firing heavy phosphor blasters. I don't know if we've seen them before. I would have thought they'd go for las cannons or something like that, but phosphor seems to be, I'm pleased they've gone for something related to Mechanicum in terms of kind of phosphor weapons. And if that wasn't enough, they've got side stubbers. I think they've got side heavy stubbers along with twin Cognis las cannons as well at the back. Interesting to see these las cannons with kind of like a big drum barrel and also drum magazine. Interesting to see las cannons look like they sort of have ammo in that form. I'm not sure about the front guns. I'm not sure whether they work. I don't think they're special enough in my opinion, but the rear guns look pretty good. So that's the gunship, and then finally you've got the fuselage, or the fuselage, which is the bomber. This is the main assault craft against ground units. Again, like the Strato Raptor, it's removed the troop transport capability, and you've now got the a bomb rack at the back. Very crude looking. It's just like bombs that are just put on this rack, exposed to the elements behind it. You've got with tectomagnetic bombs, which cause seismic shockwaves when they land. Don't know if there's different types of bombs that you can equip it with, but then you've got the side weapons, and then the front guns from this angle at least look like the same as on the Transvector. The twin heavy stubbers, I think they'd be something along those lines. So really nice look, a closer look at the three different types. Price rise, I'd like to say 40 or 45, but I think with the three options they're going to try and push 50 quid for this one. I really do. I think 50 quid they'll go for, but I would like to see it at 40 or 45. And the reason I'm saying that they'll try and push 50 is just because the Scorpius is 45, remember, and that is a transport slash, battle tank for them, hover tank. So yeah, I think unfortunately they'll probably go for 50 for this one. It's going to be quite pricey. Moving up, there's a White Dwarf news and preview. This month's issue took a bit longer than usual, but what they've done is they've then gone through the different dates of the next issues. Basically, there won't be a sort of July issue. It looks like there's a 160 page issue, this mega size issue. There won't be one in July, but there will be one in August. So I think you're missing out on an issue, but they're going to add 2 months on the current subscription, so that's quite nice. And this one looks like a real treat to get. Last week of June, 160 pages. However, you must understand that usually issues are about 144 pages, so you're only really getting 16 pages or so extra, so you need to just take that into account. Then there was a little article about Zotes, a history. That's a little article there, and then the new model. How to choose your next project, and then see the light of Alfarian. Focus on this model himself, looks amazing, and look at his rules as well, and the armour, and there's the model. And then finally there was a selection of scientists article where it had all the scientists from Belisarius Call to Zeras, all the way down to the Emperor, of course. And that is it. That's a in-depth look at all the news and a bit of an update of my channel. I'm hoping that next weekend we can be back to normal and we can start some pre-orders and looking at getting hold of brand new models. But fear not, this week there'll be daily content, and for the next few weeks. So thank you again for joining me every day. I hope you're keeping well and you're staying safe and enjoying the hobby time. Thank you ever so much for joining me today. Thank you for watching. The Emperor Protects.